Hi, welcome to the Art of Selling Junk. My name is John, and today I want to talk to you about the world's longest yard sale. It is late July, so the 127 yard sale is going to be happening really soon. It's right around the corner, and it's my favorite junking excursion of the year. It's my favorite place to source for my store. And a friend of mine once described it as the Woodstock of junk. And it's exactly that. It's people making a pilgrimage to spend a week out in the woods, hot and sweaty, searching for junk. And it's really something I look forward to every year. So I want to tell you about it because there's nothing quite like it. And this video is just dedicated to give you an overview for what it is, clarifying some misconceptions. I'm going to do a couple more deep dive videos for sellers and for buyers. But for right now, I just want to lay out what is the world's longest yard sale. And it is 700 miles of yard sales following one highway that goes from Alabama to Michigan. It follows US Highway 127, which is a rural highway that connects a series of small towns and medium-sized cities. And all along the road, you'll find people setting up in their yard, selling. Maybe they've invited some friends, so there's a little cluster of 4 or 5 vendors. Then you'll find churches that have different groups of people and bunches of spaces set up, businesses that have rented out their parking lots or their vacant land for vendors to come in. And then you'll even see big fields where there's maybe 50 vendors in one location. And it's not just vendors, sometimes it's food or drinks, refreshments. It's a production, but it completely varies depending on where you are along the highway. And you'll see some towns where it seems like everyone in town is participating, and then you'll hit stretches of the road where you don't see anyone, and it's just an average drive on an average day. It really depends, and it changes every year. Businesses come and go, land changes hands, and towns change their ordinances. So the hot spot of the yard sale over this almost 700 miles is always changing, and it's always in flux. One of the things that is a complete misnomer is the fact that it's called a yard sale, because it's not just yard sales. If you are sitting there worried that all you're going to see is kids' clothes and headless Barbie dolls, there's something for everyone on this yard sale. I have sold there for 8 years, and I'm telling you, the stuff that people drag from far corners of the country to sell in a field in Tennessee or Kentucky or Ohio will astound you. I've seen people, I've done it myself, sold dollar trinkets across from people that are selling thousands of dollars antiques. I've seen jukeboxes. I saw someone sell the Jaguar statue out of a Jag dealership. Everything under the sun is for sale on this event. So if you're biased by the word yard sale, you need to get that out of your head, because this is so much more. You have professional dealers that come in on the same highway as people that are just setting up, trying to get rid of some stuff from their closets. I mean, it's truly incredible. Someone could be selling out of the back of a PT Cruiser and have 10 items, or someone could have brought a 20-foot U-Haul pulling a 20-foot trailer. And they come from all over. I have literally sold a rocking chair to a man from England that was going to take it back to London and resell it. It is hard to wrap your mind around until you experience it. But the biggest takeaway is that you will see everything from mom and pop sellers to churches raising money for their new worship hall to little kids making baked goods to professional antique dealers to people that bring stuff from their stores or their pawn shops. It's everything. The other thing that's a little unclear about the world's largest yard sale is, when is it? And that also changes. Typically, it lasts for 7 days. The website will tell you that it's for 4 days. It's Thursday through Sunday. But almost always vendors are out there at least 3 days before. So when it starts on a Thursday, I would expect to see a lot of merchandise on the ground on Sunday. When I've been out there, I stayed out there one year for 11 days, selling and camping in the back of a truck. And it depends, because sometimes certain communities start later and certain communities start earlier. Sometimes it's up to the dealer. Some people know that they have stuff they want to wholesale to other buyers that come from across the country. And those are the early birds that are definitely there at the beginning, when the tents are still being staked into the ground. So you'll see a whole mix of things, and the highway will change almost daily. You could travel the same 20-mile stretch of road and see something new pop up every day for at least a week. It is important to note, though, that our rules are governing when you can set up. Because this thing is so big and because it attracts so much attention, some communities have pushed back against it, and they've limited how early in advance you can sell. Now, sometimes the workaround for this is people set up just outside the city limits, which is why this thing is always changing, and it's very dynamic, and you're never going to see the same yard sale you saw last year. It's going to get really crowded. I cannot stress that enough. This is a highway that is not accustomed to this much traffic, and it's going to be bumper to bumper on the weekend. Parking lots are going to be super full. A lot of people are bringing trailers or renting box trucks, things they're not necessarily that familiar with. So expect kind of a logistical nightmare on Saturday. That's almost a certainty. But with that being said, the crowd is what makes this thing great. Is people bring stuff they can't sell anywhere else. They bring things that they save specifically for the sale because they know how many people are coming, and they know that the folks are there, the buyers are there, and it's a great opportunity to sell. So you see a lot of people's A games. You see folks that may sell at other markets or antique venues, or other long yard sales or fleas or something like that. You're going to see the cream of the crop stuff at this event because of how popular it is. On the note of how crazy it gets, you will see that hotels jack their rates and are sold out. You'll see that you probably can't get a U-Haul within 100 miles of any point on the highway. You're going to see that there is the facilities are overtaxed at some of these fields, that maybe 50 vendors are set up in a guy's cow pasture. Well, the porta potties are filled at restaurants, the septic tanks can be backed up. It's just kind of crazy, and it just swamps the infrastructure. So you have to know that going in, that this is not a cruise. This is a quest. And what I mean by that is, if you're expecting a map of where all the Pyrex is, or who has the cast iron pans, and you expect it to be like a nice, leisurely, easy thing, it's not. It's an adventure. And it's a chance to find some amazing stuff that you probably never had on your radar. But it's not just a stroll. It's hot. It's crowded. The weather is unpredictable. It changes a lot. You have 700 miles of the country. So where you start and where you end are going to be two very different places. But it is something extremely unique that you're never going to experience anywhere else. And it's something that I mark my calendar for every year. I tell people that they're not allowed to get married at this time. They're not allowed to die at this time. This is set in stone because it is that unique. It's a chance to really find some incredible merchandise for your businesses, and just have a lot of fun. So that's my introduction to the World's Longest Yard Sale. I'm going to do 2 more videos at least, because it's my favorite thing to talk about, honestly. And I want to do one for buyers, because I have bought extremely well out there, and I'm going to do another one for sellers because I spent 8 years schlepping things in the field. And I think that both perspectives are useful if you're in the junk business. So stay tuned for those videos. Thank you.